So here she is as she sits right now. If you notice, I don't have a front core support. When I pulled the engine out the first time, I bent the original core support that ran across here pretty badly. And then putting it back in, I did the same thing. And then pulling it out again, bent it. So I decided to go ahead and make it out of a 1x2 that was bolted into the frame. This is all welded in. And then it has a C channel under here to help steady it. So it's pretty sturdy. And then it's bolted in with 2 bolts on either side, I think 10mm bolts. But with that, I don't have the original core support to bolt the radiator to. So I was in, it took probably about a week or two to figure out how I was going to do that. So I came up with this. This is 1-inch square tubing that's been powder coated, but it has a piece bolted, mounted on welded onto the bottom, and then it's got a nut welded into the top, and then that'll sit in here just like this, bolt going through on the bottom of it, and then the top is going to be bolted to the top of the core support, and then this piece right here is welded in so that I can bolt the transmission radiator to, and then the actual radiator will bolt to it right there, and then on the bottom. So I've got this for the passenger side. And then I've got a second one that I finished powder coating last night. Again, same thing, same design on the bottom and then on the top. That now going over here on this side. So pretty simple design, but it'll allow me to, I guess, remove the radiator and remove the engine, just sliding it straight in and out instead of having to do a giant lift over that middle core support. So yeah. And then right behind that, I'm running a Champion 3-row radiator. It's been a couple of years old, so it's a little. Okay, so we have the radiator mounted up. As I said, on the right-hand side, we have the single 1x1 that's going vertical that has the radiator mounted to it. I have one bolt, as I said, going in from up top. You can see it there. It's just a button head cap screw, so it's very easy to be mounted in. And then on the bottom, we have a single button head cap screw again. And then the same thing going on the other side, and then this here is for the, as I said, the transmission cooler to be mounted to. And then to mount the actual radiator to it, I've cut out these larger holes here, and it's just a button head cap screw coming in from the radiator side, with a fender washer, and then a nylon lock nut on this side. So it's not tightened down extremely tight. It's probably 10-15 foot-pounds of torque. Nothing crazy, but as I said, at the end of the day, it's not gonna loosen up because of that nylon lock nut. And for, as I said, if you're looking at this thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lot less robust than the original design, you're probably right. But at the end of the day, the forces are going to be acting on it. It's not going to be. I'm not worried about the moment of force, pushing back into the car. The biggest risk is the actual forces acting, allowing it to tilt sideways. But that, at the end of the day, is the shear forces going left and right across the bottom and top. So these aren't going to adjust that or affect that. I might, at the end of the day, add in some triangulation to reinforce it. And I also might add in some extra reinforcements on the side, kind of boxing in this the side areas, which will also help with the aerodynamics of the car, because you want the majority of your air flowing through the radiator and not around the radiator. So that's the front. I still have to hook up as the main lines to the radiator, and then to the water pump, and then if you have a Champion radiator, you probably have, well, if you have a stock radiator, you probably have gotten these with it. See if they'll focus. So these mount to the bottom of the radiator, way down there, and they're meant to run the transmission cooler off the radiator. At that point, it's not a transmission cooler, but more of a transmission regulator. It keeps it at approximately the temperature of your coolant. And so I wanted something that was going to keep it a little cooler than that. So I run this transmission cooler right here. And as I said, that'll mount up right there, just like that. And then this is a Hayden transmission cooler. I don't know where I got it from. Don't know when I got it. It was about 3-4 years ago now. But it does a much better job. The main thing you're looking at when you get a transmission cooler, notice this one has one inline over here, and it runs up, and then one outline over here. And all of these are where it transmits the actual fluid across. What you don't want is you don't want the transmission coolers. You see the pipe running up and down and up and down and up and down, because that just allows for very poor fluid transfer, heat transfer to through the transmission cooler. So this one will actually allow for much better heat transfer through the cooler, to just protect that 4L60E, because I know that they're not the best. I've built this one to last, so we should be okay with this. But I said this is really what you're looking for when you put in a transmission cooler. And there's the finished product. Again, you got the transmission cooler here. I've got the both lines routed here, and those run down all the way down the side of the engine compartment, and then tuck up here behind the headers and run to the transmission. I actually got 2 banjo fittings because it is such a tight fit under the in the transmission tunnel, running those into the 4L60E. Then right above that you have the 2 water lines for the vintage AC heater, and those run along again the engine bay into the water pump for the for the LS, and then this is your 3/4 inch, which is your hot water output, and then this is the 5/8 inch input. And then on the inside, those both run to a bulkhead fitting, and I'll give you a link to the what exactly I used. Really nice pieces. The company I bought mine from, it took them a little while to get to me. It was about a month shipping, of course, coming from China, but they were definitely worth it. And there's 1,000 others that you could buy from Amazon or other companies out there. And then right behind the radiator, I've got my as I said, Ford Taurus fan setup. It's a kind of a janky fan setup right now. I'm looking to swap to a Volvo fan, the actual fan that was supposed to be with the 2-speed relay, the Volvo 2-speed relay that everybody talks about. I think it was originally out of a 1990s upper model Volvo, but that's being powered by my fan relay that's actually tucked up under here, right behind my headlight bucket, and a little 3D printed relay mount. So that's all tucked up all nice and tight. So yeah, and that's all ran inside to the to right there, and then that's running my vintage AC unit right behind the radio unit right there in the middle of the car. So there it is, the AC, the heater lines, and the radiator mount and radiator install in the LS280Z.